In this lecture, we'll start a very important topic known as differential equations. Now you have already encountered differential equations in kinetics, in physics, and in various other courses, right? So we'll learn in this chapter, we will learn how to solve such differential equations. So differential equations are generally of different forms, and we'll learn how to solve each of those different kinds of differential equations. And then we will also use Laplace transform, which we learned in the previous lecture, to solve some of these differential equations. Okay, so let's begin. So what is the one of the common examples of differential equation in chemistry? That is in chemical kinetics you will encounter differential equation. So if a chemical species A converts to B, then you write that the change in the concentration of A with respect to time is given by minus K into A, right? So this is a differential equation. And what is the order of this differential equation? So when you want to determine the order of a differential equation, you look at what is the derivative of A derivative of the variable with respect to another variable. So here the derivative of A with respect to time, and this is the first derivative. So the order of this equation is 1. Okay. Then again, for example, you also have studied Cp, which is the heat capacity, right? And this is given by T by N dou S by dou T at constant P. So since this is also a first derivative, the order of this equation is again 1. Okay. Then you have also encountered diffusion equation. Okay. So what is diffusion equation? That is nothing but dou by dou T of C of x comma T, where C is the concentration, right? So concentration as a function of position and time is given by d into dou square by dou x square C of x comma T. So d is the diffusion coefficient. Okay. Alright. So d is the diffusion coefficient. So here if you see this part, this is first derivative with respect to time, and this part is second derivative with respect to position. Okay. Alright. So here, so the order is 1 with respect to time and 2 with respect to position. Okay. So for a general equation, right, the order of the equation is equal to the highest. So the order of the equation is equal to the order of the highest derivative. Order of the highest derivative. Okay. So for a general equation which is a0y plus a1 dy by dx plus a2 d2y by dx square plus and so on plus an d ny by dx power n is 0. So the order for this equation is n. Okay. Alright. Now Now let's try to do a problem, and then after we do the problem we will see how to solve these kinds of equations. Okay, so the problem is find the distance an object moves in time t if it starts from rest, right? If it starts from rest and has an acceleration d2x by dt square is given by g e power minus kt. Okay, now show that for small t x is half gt square, and for large t dx by dt is approximately constant. Okay, now this is your question. So let's read the question one more time. So find the distance an object moves. So you need to find x as a function of time if it starts from rest and has an acceleration this. So the equation for acceleration is given to you. Okay, so this is your differential equation, and from this equation you need to find x of t. Alright, so let's write it down. So d2x by dt square is g into e power minus kt. So this is given to you. And what else is given to you? It's told that the object starts from rest, okay, and has an acceleration. So if it starts from rest, you can assume that at t equal to 0, x of 0, so x at time 0 will be 0. Also you can, because it starts from rest, you can say that dx by dt will be 0 at t equal to 0, right? So these two are given to you, right? This is given and this is your equation for acceleration. So let's solve this equation. Now if you look at this equation, d2x by dt square is equal to e power minus g into e power minus kt. So what you can do is you can write it in this manner. d by dt of dx by dt is equal to g into e power minus kt. Okay, and now you can take this dt to the other side, right? So you are left with d into dx by dt. So we'll look at the integration later, but let's is equal to g e power minus kt dt. Now what we can do is we can integrate both the sides, and on the left hand side, because we are integrating d of dx by dt, so all we are left with is dx by dt, and on the right hand side we will integrate this. So we'll have minus g by k e power minus kt plus c1. Okay, now again what we can do is we can take dt to the other side. So we will have dx is equal to minus g by k e power minus kt plus c1 into dt. Okay, and now we integrate both the sides and we will be left with x is equal to minus g by k e power minus kt dt plus c1 dt. So you will get g by k square e power minus kt plus c1t plus c2. Okay, so there is always an integration if this is an indefinite integral, you will always get an integration constant. If it is a definite integral from some lower limit to upper limit, then you will not get an integration constant. So you should always remember that. Okay, so now this is your x. right? So this is your x of t. Okay, if this is your solution, and now what were the other conditions that were given to you? Other conditions were x of 0 is 0 and dx by dt at t equal to 0 is also 0. So these are the two conditions. So let's try to put x at time t equal to 0, what we get. So at time at t equal to 0, you will get 0 is equal to g by k square plus 0 because c1 into 0 plus c2. Okay. So from here you get c2 is minus g by k square. And now the other condition was dx by dt at t equal to 0 is also 0. So if x is given by, so now we can just plug in. We can plug in c2. So x will be given by g by k square e power minus kt plus c1t minus g by k square. Okay. So we plugged in minus g by k square instead of c2. Alright. So now we can find what is dx by dt from this equation. So we will get minus g by k cube e power minus kt plus c1, right? And this is equal to 0, and at t equal to 0 this term will become 1. So this is minus g by k cube. So we are differentiating this, right? So this is going to be k square into k. Okay, right? Because when we differentiate it, this minus k comes as a factor here. Alright, so this is minus g by k into 1 plus c1, right? Which means c1 is equal to g by k. Okay, so now you have solved the entire equation. So you got x is equal to g by k square e power minus kt plus g by k into t minus g by k square. So this is your x of t. Now there was another thing that the question had asked us to do, which was, what was it? Show that for small t x is nearly half gt square. So let's try to show that. Okay, so this is our x. So let's write down our x again. X is equal to g by k square e power minus kt plus g by k into t minus g by k square. Okay, now for small t what we can do, we can write this exponential in the form of a Taylor series, right? So for small t we have x of t is equal to g by k square into 1 minus kt plus plus all the higher order terms, right? Okay, so if this is our exponential part, and then we have the other part, which is g by k into t minus g by k square. Alright, so obviously we will get g by k square minus g by k into t, right? So maybe we take it to the second order, okay, and then we don't take anything further than that. So we have plus k square by 2 t square and minus order of t cube. Okay, so this is our exponential part. Okay, so then we have plus g by 2 t square plus g by kt minus g by k square. So this gets cancelled with this gets cancelled with this, and we are left with half gt square. This is x of t at small t, right? Alright. And then the other question was also for large t, also show that for large t dx by dt is approximately constant. Okay, right. So I think we have already calculated dx by dt, right? Where is dx by dt? Dx by dt is over here. So dx by dt is minus g by k e power minus kt plus g by k. Okay, this is your dx by dt. So at large t, that is when t tends to infinity, what happens? At t tends to infinity, this term becomes very small. So this part is actually 0. So all you are left with is dx by dt is equal to 0 plus g by k, which is just g by k. And this is a constant. Right? So we have proved it. Alright. So now if you have noticed this equation, we were able to solve this equation by simply taking this denominator dt to the other side and keeping all the x terms to the left hand side and all the t terms to the right hand side. So such equations are known as separable equations. Okay. So the problem that we solved just now is an example of a separable equation. Why is it separable? Because we could keep all the x variable terms on one side and all the t variable terms on the other side. Okay. So equation of the form, let's say when I give you this example, and we could write the equation that dA by dt is equal to minus Ka. This is also an example of a separable equation. Why? Because we can actually keep all the a to one side and all the t to the other side. How can we do that? We can do that by doing dA by a is equal to minus k dt, right? And then we can integrate them. Okay, so these kinds of equations are known as separable equations. So now let us solve a problem. So we want to solve x y dash is equal to y plus 1. Okay, whenever I write y dash, it means it is a differentiation of y with respect to the other variable. In this case it is x, right? So this is nothing but x dy by dx is equal to y plus 1. So how can we so is this a separable equation? The way to determine that is to bring all the y terms to one side and all the x terms to the other side. So how can we do that? We can do that by doing dy by y plus 1 is equal to dx by x, right? And then we can integrate it. So if we integrate this, what are we going to get? So if we integrate this equation, we will get ln of y plus 1 is equal to ln of x and plus an integration constant. And because everything is in terms of ln, we can have the integration constant also in terms of ln. So finally, when you remove the logarithm part, you will get y plus 1 is equal to c into x. Okay. So here you have solved the equation. So this is a constant, right? Alright, so this was a separable equation. Let's look at another equation. We have y dash plus 2xy square is equal to 0. and we are given boundary conditions. What are the boundary conditions? That y is equal to 3 when x is equal to 1. So this is a boundary condition that has been given to you. So let's solve this equation. So this is dy by dx plus 2xy square is equal to 0. So let's see if we can take all the y to one side and the x to the other side. So we can do that by doing dy by dx is equal to minus 2xy square, which is dy by dx is equal to, so this was minus 2xy square, which is dy by y square is equal to minus 2x dx. And now we can integrate it. So we'll get minus 1 by y is equal to minus 2x square by 2 plus c. Right? Okay. So this 2 gets cancelled and we have 1 by y is equal to x square minus c. Right? So this is our equation. Then what was the condition? That the condition was y is equal to 3 when x is equal to 1. So let's incorporate that. So we'll get 1 by 3 is equal to 1 minus c, which means c is equal to 1 minus 1 by 3, which is 2 by 3. Okay. So we have 1 by y is equal to x square minus 2 by 3. So this is your equation. So this is the solution of your differential equation. Now you remember that we had solved this equation, okay, which was d2x by dt square is equal to g into e power minus kt, and the boundary conditions were that x at time t equal to 0 was 0 and dx by dt at time t equal to 0 was also 0. Okay, so this equation can also be solved using Laplace transform. So let's try to do that, because then we will also see how do we use Laplace transform in order to solve the equations. Okay, so if you look at this equation, right, this is the second derivative of x with respect to time. So if you remember the Laplace transform formula, right, dn x by dt power n, the Laplace transform of this would be given by p power n x of p minus p power n minus 1 x of small x of 0, right, minus p power n minus 2 x x dash of 0 and so on up to you would get x power n minus 1 of 0. Okay, so this is what you would get. Alright. I think there is no p here. Alright. So similarly for this second order, you can write it as Laplace transform of d2x by dt square is nothing but p square x power p minus p x of 0 minus p minus x dash of 0. Okay. Alright. So you will get, right. So what you have to do is you have to take Laplace transform on the left hand side and Laplace transform on the right hand side. Okay. So what is Laplace transform of g e power minus kt? Right. This is nothing but g into Laplace transform of e power minus kt. And this formula you remember. This is nothing but g into 1 by p plus k. Okay. Alright. So finally you get p square x of p minus p x of 0 minus x dash of 0 is equal to g by p plus k. Now x of 0 is 0 and x dash of 0 is 0 because of the condition, right? Because of these two conditions. Alright. So you are left with x of p, capital X of p is equal to g by p plus k into 1 by p square. Okay. So in order to solve this equation, right, this is in the form of Laplace transform of x of t, right? Capital X of p is nothing but Laplace transform of x of t. So in order to get x of t, what you have to do is you have to take Laplace transform inverse. Laplace inverse of 1 by p square into g by p plus k. Okay. Alright. Now if you look at this equation, this is a function which is a product of two functions in p. So this you can call it f of p, capital F of p, and this you can call it capital G of p. So when you see such products of two Laplace transformed functions, then immediately you should think of convolution. Okay. So you can write this in terms of convolution, right? So this is nothing but, so Laplace inverse of this would be f star g. Okay. So first we need to get what f star g is. Alright. So f of p is 1 by p square. Alright. So now there is a formula, if you remember, which is Laplace transform of t power k is k factorial by p power k plus 1. So if you compare this equation to this, you will see that here k is 1. That's why you get p square, right? Which means that f of t is going to be t power k, which is t power 1, right? Which is t. And then you have g of p, which is 1 by p plus k, right? Which means that L inverse of g of p is nothing but L inverse of 1 by p plus k, which is e power minus kt. Okay. So now you have got, so now f of t is t and g of t is e power minus kt, right? Which means that f of tau is tau and g of t minus tau is going to be e power minus k into t minus tau. Okay. And now f star g, right? So we had to find out L inverse of f of p into g of p, which is nothing but f of t star g of t, right? And what is this function? This function is nothing but 0 to t d tau f of tau g of t minus tau. Okay. So we already know how to do this. So f of tau is tau and g of tau is e power minus k tau. Okay. So now this integral is of the form of product of two functions. Sorry, this is t minus tau. Okay. So you can simplify this further. You will get e power minus kt 0 to t d tau into tau e power k tau. Okay. So this integral you can solve by doing integration by parts. So what is integration by parts? You can assume that this function is your v, right, and this is your du. Okay. So finally your x of t is nothing but f of t star g of t, which is g into e power minus kt into 0 to t d tau tau e power k tau. So this is dv, this is u, this is du, this is v. Okay, and all you have to do is you have to do integration by parts. So you will get, so what is the formula for integration by parts? It is v into u minus integral u dv, right? So this is going to be g into e power minus kt. What is v into u? Tau into integration of this. So this will be 1 by k e power k tau, okay, minus u dv. So what is u? U is again this, and dv is differentiation of tau with respect to tau. It will give you 1. Okay, this goes from 0 to t. So now let's solve it. And d tau power minus kt. So if you substitute t here, you will get t by k e power kt minus 0, right? Minus 0 because you are also substituting 0 here, and then you have 0 to t 1 by k e power k tau d tau. Okay, so this is going to be g e power minus kt t by k e power kt minus, now we have to solve this integral, right? So we can do it by 1 by k square e power k tau going from 0 to t. Okay, so this will be g e power minus kt to t by k e power kt, right, minus g by k square e power minus kt will give e power kt minus 1. So e power 0 will be 1. Okay, that's how you get your 1 here. Alright, so e power kt and e power kt will give 1, and you are left with g by k into t minus g by k square plus g by k square into e power minus kt, right? So this is your x of t. So you can see that we were able to solve for x of t even with Laplace transform, and we got the same answer. You can verify this. You have got the exact same answer. Alright. Let's do one more problem, then I will stop. So according to Newton's law of cooling, the rate at which temperature of an object changes is proportional to difference between its temperature and temperature of its surroundings. Okay. Now a cup of coffee at 200 degrees Celsius in a room of 70 degrees Celsius is stirred continuously and reaches 100 degrees Celsius after 10 minutes. At what time was it at 120 degrees Celsius? Alright. So let's read the question. According to Newton's law of cooling, the rate at which the temperature of an object changes, right, is proportional to the difference between its temperature and temperature of its surroundings. So let's write that down. So the rate at which temperature of an object changes, that is dt, d capital T by dt, right, d capital T0 by dt, okay, and this is proportional to the difference between its temperature and the temperature of the surrounding. Okay, this we have written. So this can be converted to an equation form, which is, you just add a proportionality constant, so K into T0 minus Ts. Okay, so this is your proportionality constant. Alright. So you can try to solve this, right? So you can bring all the T0 terms to one side and the dt terms to the other side. So we have dt0 by T0 minus Ts is equal to K into dt. So, and then we can integrate it, right? And you will get ln T0 minus Ts is equal to Kt plus C. Alright. And so this is the solution, right? This is your integration constant. But there are some other conditions also given. Okay. So a cup of coffee at 200 degree. So the coffee was originally at 200 degree in a room of 70 degree. So T0 is 200, right? This is your T0, and room, the surrounding is 70 degrees. So this is Ts. Is stirred continuously and reaches 100 degree after 10 minutes. Okay. So initially this is the temperature, these are the temperatures, and after 10 minutes the coffee reaches 100 degree. Okay. So this is T0 at T equal to at 10 minutes. Okay. So at what time was it at 120 degree? So this is the question. So at T equal to 0, T0 was 200 degree Celsius, okay, and Ts was 70 degree Celsius, okay, and at T equal to 10 minutes, T0 became 100 degree Celsius. Okay, these are your conditions, and we have to find out at T equal to what T0 became. What do we have to find out? At what time the temperature, the coffee was at 120 degrees Celsius. So let's do it. So ln T0 minus Ts is equal to Kt plus C. Okay. So at T equal to 0, T0 is 200 and Ts is 70. So we can write ln 200 minus 70 is equal to k into 0 plus c, right? So this is 0 and we get c is equal to ln 130. Okay, and then we have at t equal to 10, T0 is 100 degree. So we have ln at t equal to 10, right? So it is 100 minus 70 is equal to k into 10 plus c, and c is ln 130. Okay, so this is going to be ln 30 is equal to 10k plus ln 130. So k is going to be 1 by 10 into ln 30 minus ln 130, right? So this is going to be 1 by 10 ln 30 by 130, which is 1 by 10 ln 3 by 13. So this is your k. Now we have to find out at what t T0 is 120 degree. Now you can find out easily, right? Because you know what the constants are and everything. So the equation is ln T0 minus Ts is equal to Kt plus C. And K is 1 by 10 ln 3 by 13. And C is ln 130. Okay, so now you can easily find out. So ln 120 minus 70 is equal to 1 by 10 ln 3 by 13 into t plus ln 130. Okay, so you are going to get ln 50 is equal to 1 by 10 ln 3 by 13 into t plus ln 130. So ln 50 minus ln 130 so ln 5 by 13 10 by ln 3 by 13 is equal to t, right? So t is nothing but 10 into ln 5 by 13 by ln 3 by 13. So this is your solution, right? So you could easily find the solution for all of these problems. Now I'll give you 4 problems, okay? And you have to find it. So first problem is find the position x of a particle at time t if its acceleration is d square x by dt square is equal to a sine omega t when x is x0 and dx by dt is equal to v0 at t equal to 0. So this is the problem given to you. Okay. Second homework is solve the above problem using Laplace transforms. Okay. Then third homework is solve for y in terms of x for the following: dy by dx is equal to 2xy square plus x by x square y minus y. Given that y is 0 when x is equal to root 2. Okay. And then fourth problem will be shown here.